Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into a topic that is, for many, intensely personal, but so important. That overwhelming emotional pain that can come with ADHD, especially when you're facing what feels like rejection or criticism. Have you ever felt that? A wave of just unbearable emotional or even physical pain from what someone else might see as a tiny little comment? If that sounds familiar, then this explainer is definitely for you. So let's start by really digging into what this overwhelming experience actually feels like, because I promise you it is so much more than just having your feelings hurt. Yeah, people who experience this describe it as a sudden, awful, physical pain. We're talking a chest that feels like it's tightening up or collapsing, real stomach pain, or even feeling like you've literally been punched. It can trigger full-blown panic attacks, all from something that seems pretty minor. This isn't just being sensitive, it's a truly debilitating physical response.
And living with that kind of intense pain, well, it often leads people to build these huge protective walls. They might become perfectionists, thinking, if I'm perfect, no one can criticize me. Or they become extreme people pleasers to avoid disapproval at all costs. For others, it just feels easier to give up on trying new things altogether, because that fear of failure is just, it's too much.
Okay, so let's get into it. What is this experience actually called? Because, sometimes just giving something a name is the very first step toward really understanding and managing it. The term for this is Rejection Sensitive Dysphoria, or RSD for short. Now, while it's not an official diagnosis you'll find in the DSM-5 just yet, it is a really widely recognized experience in the clinical world, especially for people with ADHD. And the key word here is dysphoria. It's a Greek word that means unbearable, and wow, that just perfectly captures the catastrophic intensity of the pain, doesn't it? Now, it's also really important to draw a clear line between RSD and social anxiety, because they can look similar, but they're not the same thing. Social anxiety is that constant, future-facing worry about what might happen in a social setting. RSD, on the other hand, is an immediate, in-the-moment, overwhelming emotional gut punch to a rejection that is happening or, and this is key, is perceived to be happening right now. So, why? Why does rejection hit so much harder for people with ADHD? Well, the answer isn't about being weak or lacking resilience. It's actually rooted in the very wiring of the brain itself.
So, in the ADHD brain, the prefrontal cortex, think of it as our emotional regulator or filter. It doesn't have the same kind of connection to the amygdala, which is the feeling, emotional part of the brain. So when a trigger happens, that filter can just get completely overwhelmed. It allows this massive emotional response to just bypass all logic and take over completely. It's a phenomenon people often call emotional flooding.
And then the core traits of ADHD just pour gasoline on that fire. Impulsivity means you react instantly to that huge feeling before thinking. Hyperfocus makes you zoom in and fixate on that one negative comment, completely ignoring any positive context. And then challenges with working memory can get you stuck in this painful loop, just replaying that hurtful moment over and over and over again.
And of course, life experience can reinforce this sensitivity. Kids with ADHD often get a lot more criticism than their peers. And over time, the brain learns to be on constant high alert, just scanning every room, every conversation for the next potential threat. It basically gets hardwired for rejection.
Okay, now for the practical part. If you're in the middle of that emotional flood, what can you actually do? Let's talk about some immediate tools you can use to manage an RSD episode right in the moment. These techniques come from a type of therapy called dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT. And the goal here isn't to make the feeling magically disappear. It's to help you ride out the wave, to endure it, without making the situation any worse. It's all about giving your logical brain a chance to get back online. First up is the stop skill. It's so simple, but incredibly powerful. Literally, S, stop what you're doing, freeze. T, take a step back, either physically or just mentally. O, observe what's happening in your body and your mind, no judgment. And then P, proceed, but mindfully. This creates that crucial pause between the trigger and your reaction. Next are the tip skills, and these are cool because they use your body's own biology to calm your nervous system down fast. You can change your body temperature with cold water, do some intense exercise for a minute, use paced breathing, or try paired muscle relaxation. Any of these can rapidly bring down that flooded emotional state and get you back to your baseline. All right, so those are your in-the-moment first aid tools, but let's zoom out. Let's talk about the long game.
How can you start to build some emotional armor to make yourself less vulnerable to this stuff in the first place?
Honestly, it starts with the fundamentals, the basics. These daily practices create a stable foundation for your brain. Getting good sleep, regular exercise, feeling like you have some control over your time, and building self-esteem through small, achievable wins, these things matter. A tired, stressed out, overwhelmed brain is a much, much more vulnerable brain.
Mindfulness and self-compassion are also absolutely critical pieces of this armor. This just means noticing your feelings as they pop up and accepting them without judging yourself for having them. It's about learning to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would give to a good friend who is going through a tough time.
And of course, the people around us play a massive role. So for partners, friends, bosses, creating an environment of psychological safety is just huge. This means things like giving feedback privately and constructively, communicating really clearly to avoid misunderstandings, and framing mistakes as chances to learn, not as total failures.
And this is maybe the most important takeaway of all. RSD is not you being too sensitive. It's not a character flaw. It is a real, legitimate, brain-based condition. And just understanding that can be a massive shift. It moves the whole conversation away from shame and self-blame and toward a place of empowerment and self-compassion. So as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this question to think about. Whether it's for yourself or for someone you care about, building this kind of resilience always starts with small, intentional steps. So what's one little thing you can do today to make your world feel just a bit more emotionally safe?